We are live. Hey, I am so excited for this masterclass. This is the first time I'm doing this one, and I wanted to do this straight after my challenge. So I'm super excited about this. I know everyone is in a different time zone, so some of you may be watching this live. So hey, you can say hey in the chat only to me or to everyone in the chat. I know sometimes the conversation can get this is a deep topic. We're talking about your kids. We're talking about your family. So sometimes you may want to ask me something and you don't want to ask everyone. So that's totally fine. You can do that in the chat. Hey, Yasmin, I can see you say hello. I believe you said it to everyone. Feel free to say hello. Where are you from? What the biggest thing you want to learn? We're going to have a discussion. I believe it's going to be about 30 minutes to 45 minutes max. I don't like to go for very long. But as we're going, if you want to ask me a question privately, you can ask me a question privately. And if you are not here today and you're watching the replay and you're like, Fareedah, I have a burning question, I cannot wait, then you can text me. If you're not a part of the text community, it is a free community. Please let me know if you can hear me because I don't want to be talking. And then you all are like, we can't hear you. But I'm pretty sure you can hear because, okay, yes. So I want you to text me at, where's the number? Sometimes I keep forgetting it, so I have to write it down on paper. 202-918-5154. I have this thing over here so I don't forget it. You can text me there. So you can text me in the chat privately or in this number if you're watching the replay, or you would like to ask me a question later on and you're not able to ask me now, or you have to jump off or whatever it is. Hey, Susan, thank you. Awesome. So we're going to go into 7 ways that you can protect your kids online. If you did not attend the summit that I did, this was last week. It was not national, oh my gosh. It was the Center on Preventing Sexual Exploitation of Children. And I talked a lot about this. So this is similar to that summit. I decided to use that as a platform to talk about what I do today. And I believed that we needed to do a pop-up session because everyone needs to hear this. You will get the replay even if you're here live. If you have to jump off, it is totally fine. If you're watching the replay, this replay will be forever available. I do not take down my replays. I don't feel like I need to do that. We're all adults here. You get the information. It's fine. So, number 1, have you ever wondered what it would be like to, let's see if it's going to let me do the next slide, maintain a beautiful relationship with your child while also protecting them online, keeping predators and hackers away without being tech savvy, stress less, my pleasure, stress less about your kids' online activities. Those are the 3 things. If you follow me on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, or whatever, you know I'm really, really big in maintaining a relationship with your child without losing your mind, without losing your sanity, and protecting them without being tech savvy. And that's a huge, huge thing. So by being here today, if you stay until the end, you're going to get all of the things. If you don't, then, you're not going to get all the information. But you will discover the 7 ways, the simple yet powerful methods to protecting your kids online. And every masterclass I do is simple and powerful methods because I believe in simplicity. I don't believe in complex stuff. Will it feel like a lot sometimes? Yes, because it is a lot. We're talking about the online world. We're conquering something that seems really, really, really huge. But guess what you do? How do we eat an elephant? We eat it step by step, little by little. So that's what we're doing right now. My promise to you is by the end of this masterclass, you'll know more about holistically protecting your kids online than the vast majority. Yes, a replay will be available. The vast majority of parents that you currently know. And if you're already in my program, they're going to know a lot about this type of stuff. And if you're not, it is totally fine. We could talk about that as well. But this is an amazing reminder for anyone and everyone. So let's talk about what holistic online safety is. If you follow me and if you heard me talk for more than, how long has it been? Almost 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Okay. So if you heard me talk about safety for more than 5 minutes of your life, you heard me talk about holistic online safety over and over and over and over again. So what does that mean? When Fareedah says holistic online safety, we know she's not talking about Whole Foods or something. What's she talking about? She's talking about giving your kids the freedom that they want and the safety and security that they need. They're wanting freedom. They're begging you for freedom. They just want to be their own self and do their own thing. So how do you give them some harmony? They can't do everything that they want, but how do you give them what they want and what they need at the same exact time. That is what holistic safety and security is. It's working with your kids, especially as they get older, to come up with a solution that works best for your family. There is no one solution fits all, but as you have questions throughout this presentation, please, or discussion, I like to say discussion because I feel like we're talking to each other, please let me know or text me at 202-918-5154. You can either put it in the private chat. I see some of you are private messaging me. You can either do that, or you can do the phone number, or you can put in the public chat. Whatever you feel comfortable with, you can scream it from the rooftops. It's your question. I'm just here to answer it. So why do you want holistic online safety? You want to strengthen your relationship with your kid. That's number one. You want to maintain online safety within your household without being tech savvy, without losing your mind. You are tired of piecing your kids' safety and security together, and you're tired of being worried sick about their protection online. You need someone to guide you and help you, which is why you clicked on this masterclass and you're like, Fareedah, help me out. Let's go into why now is the time really quickly. Is you're tired of being unsure about where your kids are, what they're doing, what's happening, what's the new thing. There are so many more online crimes. This is statistically actually a thing that the online crimes against children have doubled. This is why I'm speaking at more summits, to make sure that I'm raising awareness on ways that you can do it simply but powerfully in terms of protecting your kids online. Your kids are spending way more time online. So even though we're nearing the post-pandemic phase, they're still spending way more time than they used to on average. Not every family is like that, but most families are in that position. And you know that you can protect them. Because if you felt like you couldn't protect them, you wouldn't be here today. You need to understand that you have the power and the tools within you to protect them without being tech savvy, without being social media savvy, without being whatever. So let's go into who am I really quickly. I'm pretty sure most people know who I am because you've been following me maybe for a bit. I see some familiar faces, but let's just say that you're new and you're just like, who is she? Why is she talking about this? Then my name is Fareedah Shahid. I'm an award-winning online safety educator. I've taught thousands of people online safety and security, given some keynotes, of course, lunch and learns, workshops, sessions like this. I've been named the Cybersecurity Personality of the Year 2020. And if you followed me on social media, have been around me for a couple minutes, you'll know why. I love joy. I love laughing. I love dancing. I love music. I love to just be myself while talking about something that's extremely serious. If you follow me on social media, you know that my page, while it talks about really serious things, I keep an attitude of positivity around me because I believe we really need more of that. You're already stressed about the crazy online world. Why add on to that in my social media posts? My work has been featured in places like Forbes. I'm a Forbes 30 under 30 honoree. I'm also sitting on the Forbes board. I did presentations for NASA, Cisco. I did Radio 1, Tripwire, Fox 25, 46, The Griot, Yahoo, Afrotech, so many other places that I've been able to grace, thankfully, by the grace of God. And I would not be here today without people like you and the people who support me. And most importantly, you being here is the most important thing. It honestly is, because I'm doing this not only because I want to create some impact and change in the world, but because I have been through certain situations. For anyone who knows, I don't know if you can see, but I have like my gaming headphones. I'm a gamer. I grew up as a gamer, not my entire childhood, but I grew up a bit as a gamer, like since 13 and up, I've been a gamer. And I have had experiences in online gaming. So when your kids are talking about staying safe on online gaming or whatever, I know about it since I walk the walk. My background is in cybersecurity awareness, is in threat intelligence. I worked in corporate to make sure that we're protecting your client, their clients, and you and your money and all of those type of things. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. So these are some of the challenges that you may be facing, and let me know if there's anything more. Kids are oversharing a lot on the internet. They're seeing inappropriate content. You don't know what apps and websites they are on. They don't even know what apps and websites they're on. You don't know how dangerous the internet can be in terms of where they are, and they don't know themselves as well. Their predators are preying on kids. They're talking to strangers. They're spending so much time online. Those are some of the challenges that you may be facing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Oh, and then the Safe Kids Movement is my beautiful, lovely program that I absolutely love and adore. So I'm going to talk about my bigger reasons for being here today really quickly, because everything ties in together. You see some like little pictures. Ooh, it came out so nice. You know how when you make a presentation and then it messes up the presentation? So I'm very happy to see everything put together, okay? So the first picture on the far left is safety offline translates to safety online. a lot of my principles actually come up from my mother. I think a lot of us, whether it's good or bad or whatever, childhood trauma or childhood joy, a lot of things do come out from your childhood. We figure out our life's path through the puzzles that we put together, through the things that we've been through as kids. And this is where the Safe Kids movement comes from. This is where this entire presentation discussion comes from, because of the principles that I learned from my own mother and my own upbringing. I also grew up in Saudi Arabia. If anyone doesn't know, I have a podcast called The Accidental Arab. I grew up in a completely different culture than my own. That's what a third culture kid means. And so when I'm talking to families who are from different religions and backgrounds and spirituality and understanding and culture and color and whatever it is, I understand that everyone's household operates differently. I will never. And if you ever see me do that, you can be like, hey, Fareedah, you said you don't do that. I do not tell you how to run your household. I am not going to be parent shaming you. Whatever you choose to do, you choose to monitor, you don't monitor. You decide to have TV, not TV, screen or no screen. Whatever you do is what you do. I've lived around so many different cultures and languages and belief systems. I am totally okay and fine and not offended on what you need to do for your household, for your kids. That background really is one of my bigger reasons for how I operate my business and how I talk to my clients and how I operate the Safe Kids movement. I talked about my gaming experience. I've been gaming since I was 13 years old. Very, very often, almost 9 times out of 10, the only woman in the room with a bunch of guys gaming on voice. Okay, since I was 13 years old. So I have stories for days and days and days. So when I'm talking to you about this, I'm not just talking about it from a professional point of view, but I'm also talking about it from actual lived experiences. And of course, working with families like you, strengthening bonds, that is a picture of me and my madre. She is amazing. She's really, really beautiful. We developed an amazing and beautiful relationship with each other through open and honest communication, non-judgmental communication. And I really wanted to see that happen for so many other people, to understand their kids and what they're going through. Whether your kid is interested in something like you're like, I don't understand anime. Girl, I got you. I'm definitely a geek/nerd. I'm in the cybersecurity field. I love anime. I love gaming. I love this. I love that. I love cosplaying. So I may be able to understand what your kids may be going through in a way that you may not. So I'm definitely there in that. And then my biggest thing is protecting the joy. I worked in cybersecurity and threat intelligence, cybersecurity awareness. And the biggest reason that I want to be here is to protect joy and love and have fun. And my biggest reason of all, or one of the biggest reasons of all, is you. You sitting here today, you deciding to go through this. We're about 12 minutes in, so about maybe 30 minutes left, right? Of just to assess the base. It's going to go as long as anyone has questions usually. But usually this covers everyone's questions. It's you. It's your family. It's your kids. So stick in there. We're going to get into everything you need to know. Here are some of the fake stories that you tell yourself. You're not tech savvy. I went through this in my presentation last week, and so many people resonated with this. You feel like you're not tech savvy. My pleasure. You feel like you're not, I look at the chat. You feel like you're not tech savvy. You're not social media savvy. You don't know so much about gaming, or you feel like, oh my God, my kids know more than me. The world is moving so fast. They're going against like all the parental controls I put into. They're finding a way around it, or they're disabling it. I don't know what to do. I feel like they know more than me. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Whew. Okay. You got this. You don't need to know more than your kids to protect them online. And it sounds really crazy, but I'm going to tell you this. You are the parent. You are the guide. All you need to do is be the guide. You can leave the knowing more to me. I can let you know. You can text me at 202-918-5154 and go, Fareedah, oh my God, please tell me about this because I'm so confused. And guess what? I'll send you a link. And if you're part of the Safe Kids movement, we can get on the phone for 15 minutes or something. I rarely do that, but sometimes I do that. But we can talk. We can figure that out together. So let's talk about the 7 things we're going to talk about today. Is the stranger danger is a myth. So, oh my God, that's a big one. If you're trying to protect your kids from predators, we're going to need to know a couple things about the online world. And that means that the whole stranger danger conversation, let me know if you grew up with that concept of stranger danger. That's a complete myth. If you grew up with it, let me know. Type 2 in the chat if you've ever heard stranger danger, especially growing up. Step 2 is having to have the tech talk and how to start it. 3 is positive associations. 4, connections over controls. 5, when to implement the controls. 6, be the change you want to see. And 7, implementing holistic, ongoing protections for your kids. Here is Orjean. Orjean said she didn't know a lot about cybersecurity. She attended some of my workshops and she was just like, oh, she's a real deal and she learned so much and she's definitely going to refer her friends and family. And I absolutely adore Orjean. She is a mother of 2 as well. So let's go into number 1. Stranger danger is a myth. I'm going to go into Sarah's story. Sarah's someone who I know personally. She may be on this masterclass. She may not be. And she checked up on me a couple of weeks ago and she's like, Fareedah, are you sharing my story? And I said, yes, I am, because I believe your story is really powerful. And I'm going to quickly go into the story. I'm not going to get into too many details. And this is a slight trigger warning. However, I'm not going to go too deep into the story just to make sure that I'm giving everyone the space to feel what they need to feel and not have to go too deep into certain emotions. But I'm just going to share it as an awareness for anyone who has kids who is still believing in the whole stranger danger theory, especially when it comes to the online world. So when she was 6 years old, she had communication with someone who she thought was her cousin. She and her cousin used to always go back and forth in Messenger online. They used to, keep up with family members, and she always had chats with him. And one day her cousin reached out to her, and she felt like it was a little bit different than usual, but she felt like, okay, well, still my cousin, so let's chat with them. And as she was chatting with them, he wanted to meet up. He was like, you know what, let's meet up. Let's meet at a park or something. I can't remember the exact location of where he wanted to meet up. And she felt like that was a little weird, but she felt like, okay, well, this is my cousin. It's my older cousin. I trust them. If they want to meet up, then they want to meet up. Unfortunately, the person that she was talking to on the other end of the screen was not her cousin, and it was actually a predator. And the predator had hacked into her cousin's account and was impersonating her cousin to get to her as a little girl and had her meet up with him. And of course, when she met up with him, she went through a situation where she was a victim of sexual assault. And thankfully, she was able to call her family members and they were able to come to get her. But it really, really started events that really, really determined the course of her life and determined how she viewed the life moving forward, because she got her innocence taken away from her at such a young age. And so ever since then, she wanted to speak up about these type of things and help other little girls who are going through the same exact situation. And I wanted to raise awareness about this because many times when we talk about online safety and security, when we're talking about stranger danger, or we're telling kids to not talk to strangers online, we actually forget the concept of strangers. And when we're talking to kids, strangers does not mean the same thing. And even when we're talking to other people online. So a lot of predators, they're not going to come at your kids as strangers. They're going to build a relationship with your kids. And that's, of course, what is called grooming. So there's 2 ways that they get around the stranger danger concept. Number 1 is by this way, which most people actually don't know about this way. And this is why I actually raise awareness about this, is that a lot of predators are not just predators. They're also hackers, meaning they have technical skills to get around technology, to manipulate technology, to do things that they want to do. And what they do very often is hack into other kids' accounts and impersonate other kids, or create a fake profile. We've all seen that on social media, of your kid's classmate or a friend or a family member or whatever, just to make sure that the kid feels, oh, and I'm not talking to a stranger, I'm talking to a family member, I'm talking to somebody I know. So they'll add them, or they'll still have that conversation with them. So stranger danger doesn't work as well on the online space. Now, if you are going to talk about stranger danger in that concept, you want to give more context to it to make them understand what it actually really means. The second way that stranger danger doesn't work is that many times they're grooming them, or they're becoming friends with them. So by the time they do something that makes the kid feel either uncomfortable or is downright sexual assault or harassment, the kid doesn't really understand what's going on, and it's very difficult for them to talk to you about it because they really feel like, oh, that was my friend. And so there's completely different emotions that come about when it's your friend than with someone that you just met. So those are things that we want to continuously talk about when we're talking about protecting kids online. This is what I mean by holistic. It's never just a one thing, one and done, and it's over. And so she contacted me a couple weeks ago, and she's like, Fareedah, more people need to know my story. I hope you're sharing it. And I don't like share her name because I want to keep her privacy, but I'm really, really happy that she allowed me to share her story because it is really deep. And so hopefully you all can understand what I mean by protecting your kids holistically. So this, of course, this story is a prime example about why this type of concept needs more explanation to kids, or more understanding on your part. So we just talked about a lot about fear. And this is Rashonda Pratt. She's a mom of 3, and she went to one of my workshops, and she said she didn't focus on the fear. So I want to highlight this comment from her, because even though I just talked about something that's extremely scary, even for me, it's very difficult to talk about, because I can remember certain things that happened online that made me feel extremely uncomfortable. And you probably are going back to things as well. But I don't want to focus on the fear, because the fear is a part of the story. It's a part of the journey. But the real thing is giving you the tools and information, like she just said, to help you through the difficult moments and not knowing where to go and what to do. So I really want to make sure that we are putting it on the front burner. We're looking at it and we're deciding, you know what can we do to make sure that we're protecting our kids holistically without focusing on being so worried so much? Because you're going to be worried, but how can we start protecting them? Number 1 is having the tech talk, continuously having the tech talk. So here are some questions to ask your kids to start a discussion, especially if they're on the online platforms. The first question is, what do you like about this platform? And just in a curious way, not like, what do you like about this platform? I don't get it. It's more like, okay, well, you want to download this game, or you want to be on this social media. So what do you like about it? What do your friends like about it? I don't really understand this, so I just want to learn a little bit more. Keep your mind and understanding open. Number 2, you can say, what do you not like about this platform? And there's something like you feel like they should change. You wish that they would add this feature, or they would take away this feature because this really annoys you. Even if it's something very trivial, like, oh, well, I don't like that color is red and I would like it to be pink. Okay, at least you're having a discussion, because this allows you to develop some type of connection with the online space. Another question you can ask and say, what do you wish that I understood about this platform? I know you love TikTok so much, and I'm not on TikTok yet, or maybe you decide to go on TikTok and you got addicted and you realize why they love it so much. That happened to me. I was like, why do they love this platform so much? I downloaded it and I was like, oh, it's addictive. Okay, I see. So you can download it for yourself and do your own thing, or you can say, what do you wish I understood more? What does it give you in terms of, the happiness in being on the platform? Just open up the conversation. This is starting conversations. You can ask anything more, anything that allows you to have a conversation with them where their defenses are down, where it's not like an attack, it doesn't feel like an attack, is the best way to start the tech talk conversation. Of course, a part of the conversation, you need to talk about stranger danger in terms of not talking to people you don't know, and having red flags when people that you're talking to, you think it says something uncomfortable, or if someone tries to add you from a duplicate profile, those type of things. I'm not going to go too deep into this. We're already 20 minutes in, so you already know the general things you want to talk about. However, I'm going to go over certain things that we don't normally talk about that you need to understand about having the tech talk with your kids. The first thing is to understand why the online world is so important to them. Understand why connections are so important to them, and actively listen to them throughout the conversation in a non-judgmental way to help better a connection with your kids, because that means they're more likely to listen to you. This doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. When you're having a non-judgmental conversation, does not mean that your morals or family values or family guidelines go out the window. It just means that you're giving them space, you're holding space for them to give you their emotions and their experiences and their likes and dislikes. The whole moral thing, or this is what we do in the household, or this is not what we do, doesn't belong in this exact conversation. It will come later because they already know that. But just understand, dig into why they love it so much so that you're able to holistically protect them. So you want to talk about the good and bad of technology. I'll go a little bit deeper into that in the next section, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. But just know that you don't want to just talk about the bad. Many times when we're talking about technology, it's so easy to go into, oh my God, predators, hackers, inappropriate content, porn, this, that, blah, blah. It is really easy because those things are things that you have to talk about if your kids are going to be online. And I don't want you to just focus on that. I want you to focus on the good of it, the really awesome things like connecting with your friends online, or have a gaming experience, or getting a job online, or figuring out what they do, depending on where they are in their learning experiences, watching someone unpack gifts on YouTube, whatever it is. Talk about the good and bad. Give them real life examples and stories that help you illustrate your point. So if you're trying to tell them something, give them a story of something really happened. Pull out a news story. Pull out something to give them some real life examples, and periodically check in about their experiences. How's it going? Do they like it? How's this game? How's the social media? Is there something you want to change? Always have that conversation. remember, the tech talk is ongoing. So online safety should be a consistent conversation. It's not just one and done. Nothing's one and done. Not even the tech that you put in, which is really frustrating because you got to update it and you got to put new things. But nothing is one and done. This is not just someone installed your cable and they're gone and they only come back to fix it. No, you have to periodically check in. And this is why being attached to me where I can send you reminders. I haven't sent a reminder yet in the text community, but I'm about to soon. So hopefully anyone who has Apple, make sure you're updating your computer and you're updating your phone because there is a new virus, a new something out there. And you want to make sure that your family is protected. See, a reminder. You always want to check in. You always want to make sure that the technology is up to date. Your conversations are up to date. And you want to have quick reminders. So sometimes, like you see this photo right here, you can just, they're on the computer, like, okay, make sure you don't share too much information if they're gaming. Or just whatever it is that feels comfortable with you, that doesn't feel like, ooh, that's too much, whatever works for you and your family. 3 is creating positive associations. This is my favorite portion, and it will be your kids' favorite portion. And this is one of the biggest keys to keeping the connection with your kid and allowing them to still stay safe. So this is what I meant about talking the good and bad. This is the little bit deeper version of that without wasting too much time. So create positive associations with the online world and online gaming and social media. This makes them more open to listening to your concerns, and it makes it easier for them to come to you with an incident. So if they are a gamer, you want to connect with them through games. If they're someone who loves social media, connect through them to that. If they love YouTube and watching other people game on YouTube or open up a gift or whatever it is on YouTube, connect with them through that. You don't have to be interested, just connect them through that. Because this gives them an understanding that, oh, mom or dad is here for the entire experience. They're here because they really, really want me. They really love me. They understand this is something that I like. So if I feel uncomfortable, I can come to them because they're on my side, that I'm not the villain, or the game is not the villain, or the online experience isn't the villain. Because when we talk about the online world in such a bad light, they don't want to come to you. Because guess what? If you always are talking about how bad gaming is or how social media is so bad, not if, but when they have a negative experience on the platform, they don't want to come to you. They don't want to come to you because of why? Because they feel like if I come to you, that's reinforcing your feeling of it and you're going to take it away from me. And they don't want you to take it away from them because they want what? They want freedom. That is when holistic safety comes in. This is why the slide says if they can't talk to you about a positive experience, how can they come to you when they have a negative or uncomfortable experience? What we're trying to do is develop brownie points. I think I said on the next slide. I don't know why I said it. It doesn't matter. What you're trying to do is give brownie points so that by the time something happens or there's an uncomfortable situation, they feel totally okay coming to you and saying, oh my God, this felt uncomfortable. I didn't like that. And they feel that you're on their side and you're not going to just take away the game. You're not going to just take away social media. You're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to come up with a solution. You're going to talk through it with them. You're going to come up with something that allows them to think critically so that even when you're not there, they can make the right decision without you. So if they're a gamer, you can ask them questions about their game. You can game with them. You can listen to them. I wish I could show the video, but one of the parents that I talked to, she did this and her relationship with her son completely changed. And he was listening to her more because she had a problem with when she was making dinner, he wouldn't come down for dinner because he was on the game. So they came up, she started to play the game with him and understand why he couldn't pause the game and why certain things were happening. And she was like, oh, okay, I get that. So that means you're going to have to play the game 20-40 minutes before I start dinner. So it's the end of the game by the time I call for dinner, and it's totally fine if you come 5 to 10 minutes late as long as you come within this time period. And he honored that over and over. And then they had a system where he had to take out the trash or he had to do a certain chore before he got on the game. When you're engaging with them with the things they love and understand, it's easier for you to understand what they're talking about and for them to go along with you. Now, mind you, you might have to get a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatrist in the conversation as well. Because while I talk about all things online safety and security, your relationship with your kid is very unique. You know your kid's problems and issues. You're an expert in your kid. So what works for one person will not work for others. This is a general rule on how to connect with your kids. But if you have any other further problems or there's something that's unique to your situation, then please involve someone that you trust to help out with the relationship with your kid. and implement security and safety techniques. So remember, if the game or the social media or the thing they love is important to them, it's important, period. No matter how you feel, if you like it or you don't like it, it is important to them. So make it important. You don't have to be interested in it. You don't have to love it. You can hate it. You can hate those videos on YouTube, but still be interested enough to just have that conversation with them. Even if you can't have the conversation in the moment, you can say, hey, sweetie, look, I'm doing something. Come back to me in 30 minutes. Let's talk about it, because I really want to hear what you got to say, even if you don't. It's fine. All these actions, oh, there it is. They build brownie point and they allow you to build a connection with your kid. 4, connections over controls. You want to know that parental controls and parental monitoring should never, can never, and will never be the foundation of holistic online safety and security and real protection from predators. Because predators notoriously, and they actually have a PDF that I believe it went viral on like social media. It was really terrible PDF, but it was extremely enlightening on how predators think. When they go after families, they don't go after families that don't have parental monitoring systems on their computers. They go after families that don't talk to each other. They go after families that kids feel isolated from their parents. They go after families that can't connect with each other. And this is not to go into, because all families have issues. You're not going to have 100% where your kids love you and you feeling, all great with the relationship with your kid. It's not going to happen. The point is that you overall have a relationship with you're able to talk to about with your kids. This should be implemented as an aid for your online safety plan. So basically, connections and controls are very, very important, but connections are the foundations. Parental controls and monitoring, you just add it. You just slap it on top after. You're like, okay, now we're going to monitor this. Okay, we're going to put some controls over that, but it can never be the foundation. Parental controls, as you know, can be worked around, they can be disabled, and they can be proved ineffective for a catch-all solution, and you know this because you can be monitoring your kids' everything, but they can go around it. They can go to a friend's house or a school or see something inappropriate. So that's why maintaining an open line of communication is important, and you must treat parental controls as a last line of defense. This is Josette. She is a grandparent. She says she now takes time to review information online and select the appropriate reply to different things that are online in an informed manner. The reason why you want to think about online safety or holistic online safety is so that you can approach situations and think of it critically and work on, okay, how can I build connection and then put on some technology to seal the deal without running to get, controls in. 5. We got 2 more left. If you have any questions, please let me know right now because we're about to close out in maybe 10, 15 minutes or something. We're already 30 minutes in, so I like to close soon. So if you have any questions, make sure that you're saying it now or you're texting me at 202-918-5154. So when do you implement controls? Implement controls after you've explained the why behind them and you've had the tech talk. Parental controls and monitoring aren't bad. You just need to select the right one and the right one for you and your family. And it is totally fine. They just need to be implemented after you've explained the tech and you've explained why you're doing it. Do not, and I repeat, do not install parental monitoring without your kids knowing. The only time you should install parental monitoring without your kids knowing is if you've consulted a psychiatrist and a psychologist or a counselor or whatever it is. You made a decision as a family. It's a dire situation. Something's happening. And then you need to do that. Fine. But 9.9 times out of 10, you do not need to install it behind their back, and it will erode the trust of your relationship, and it will erode their safety online. And that is the fastest way to make them more unsafe online. The whole point is to teach your kids how to operate so that when you're not there, they're still being safe online, because you're not going to be there 24/7, no matter how much you really want to make sure that you know every situation, but you cannot control everything. And so you have to be in a position where you have holistic safety so that whether you're there or not, they can understand the best of your ability, because no one's perfect, that they know what to do and they know who to talk to. So you want to implement control step by step to not overwhelm yourself. There are so many things you want to do. I'm going to talk about a couple apps that you can download towards, I think it's like the next slide, I believe. Yeah, next couple slides. There's apps that you can download, install it slowly, surely. You don't have to install any parental controls if you don't want to. I know plenty of parents that do not monitor their kids or they don't have any controls, and that is totally okay. You need to do what's right for you and your family. You just talk about it with anyone who's involved with the printing aspect of it, and you make a decision that's best for you. It is totally okay. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Take a screenshot of this page. I highly encourage every single person here, take a screenshot of this page before I go to the next slide. I'm going to talk quickly about each one of them. You all should have each one of them. Quiz Studio you don't really have to have as a parental control. If you decide to parental control, has parental monitoring aspects as well. If you want to use it, you can. It's totally fine. You can use them. You can use Net Nanny. There are other different applications that work really well. Do what's right for your family, but everything else, these are things you really want to have. So let me quickly go over it before we go to the next slide. LastPass is a password manager. It manages your passwords for you. You can also get LastPass for your kids. You can control their accounts through LastPass if you want, but LastPass is a great way to prevent hackers from getting into your account and your kids' accounts. So Yasmin asks, is it okay for a 9-year-old, take a sip, to online game? That's fine. It depends on the game and your familiarity with the game. I highly suggest if they are 9 or 10 years old, they don't play a game that has the chatting function in it or the voice chat function. So if they are 9 or 10, you can just turn that off. So make sure that it's easy to turn off. And that is one way that you can have them. They can be on online games, but they're just not interacting with other people until they get a little bit older. When they get older, that's a different thing. You can decide whether or not you want them to do that. But as a kid, it's best that they're not on those voice things. You want to wait until they're like late teens. LastPass is great, especially if you are a business owner or if you have a lot of accounts. If you have more than 2 accounts, which is 99.99999% of the people in the world, you're going to want LastPass. It protects your passwords, creates passwords for you, and puts information like your credit card information, your address, those type of things. It keeps it nice and secure for you and your family, so you don't have to remember any passwords ever again. This works also for your kids as well. Dual security is a 2-factor authentication service, meaning 2 ways of authenticating to one account. So not just your password, but you also have a one-time code that comes to your phone. Dual security is an app that you should download on your phone that helps you with that. Quiz Studio is a parental control, parental monitoring application that I don't have to talk about. You already know what that is. NordVPN is a virtual private network. It creates a secure tunnel between who you are and where you're connecting to. So say you and your family go on vacation and you want to connect to Facebook or you want to check your bank account to make sure you have enough money for that thing that your kid wants. You do not want to be on public Wi-Fi because that is how predators and hackers get to families and hack into your things and take your money and prey on your kids. So the best way that you can protect yourself from someone doing that is installing something called a VPN. You can go to NordVPN in your app store. You can download that, follow the steps. I don't remember how much it costs, but it's not that much money. Maybe I'm not even going to figure. I'm not going to say anything, but it will cost you money. Make sure that you do pay for it. Do not get a free one. Free ones are a scam. Always pay for a VPN. DuckDuckGo is a private browser, so it's harder for these companies and advertisements to track your kids all through the internet. So if you want them to search something, you can use a private browser like DuckDuckGo. VirusTotal is something you use if you get a link or your kid gets a link and they don't know if it's a good link. They can scan it with this, and this will tell them more often than not, is the link a safe link or is this a bad link? And this is training yourself and your kids to understand the online world. This is extremely important, especially if your kids are older, because when they get older, they're going to need to know how to protect themselves, because many scammers and hackers will go after teenagers because they feel like, oh, they're not going to know a lot of these things, and they're going to give up a lot of information, not only about themselves, but about their family. Have I been pwned or pawned, however you want to pronounce it? It is a website that tells you if your email address, or you or your kid's email address, has been out there for any hacker or any predator to see, and what information is there online because of a data breach of a company. So a company releasing information about you. Stubby says, how secure are these apps really? Honestly, the more popular the app is, with more privacy policies, more security things. So a lot of these apps right here are extremely secure. They've been vetted, they've been tested, they are very, very well known, they're reliable, etc. But when you're talking about random apps in the App Store, you actually don't know. And so you're relying on a service like Apple to do some preliminary checks on them before they go into the App Store. When you're talking about random games that your kids download on the internet, they're most times they're not secure at all. And those things will put viruses on your computer and those type of things. So not only do you want to know what apps they're downloading for safety reasons, but you want to know for security reasons, because sometimes these apps can be downloaded and they're taking your personal information and they're racking up credit card charges, not because your kid bought something in game, but because there is someone who is installing a virus in your computer through a game that your kid installed. These things go deep. This is why I have the Safe Kids movement, because these things go deep. And so there are so many modules that I put in there that allow to get a little bit deeper in those things, because it's kind of difficult to get all of them. So be the change you want to see. Number 6 is be the change you want to see. So remember, practice what you preach. If you tell them to not share online, you shouldn't be sharing things online. That means sharing a lot of information about your kids online. If you want them to do certain things, not use their phone a lot, then don't use your phone a lot. I know you're the adult in the situation. You have a lot of more responsibilities, and so you have more reasons to be online, but explain that to them. Give them an understanding about how things change as they age and they have more responsibility. But be the change you want to see. Remember, no one is perfect, but let's try our best to model what they should have. This is Yaya Smith. She's a mom of 4. She says she makes the tech stuff easy. She, as in moi, me, makes the tech stuff easy. I give you the simple steps to protect your family the right way. This is what we're talking about. So when I'm talking about all of the apps or everything we went through, or the next 10 minutes of this whole thing, so we're up, it gives 40 minutes. So remember, if you have questions, please let me know now. These things can be made simple. It's not always easy to understand exactly at first. I don't want you to overwhelm yourself. Just take one step at a time. This is Eve. She's a mom of a 6-year-old gamer. She says I gave her helpful suggestions that keeps her gamer kids safe. And we know we've been like chatting back and forth in Messenger. And she's just like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So when you're having someone that knows about the online gaming world, then I can tell you a little bit more about what you may see or what your kids may go through. And those, are the apps actually secure? These apps are made by developers. Some developers care about security. Some developers do not. There's my English. It came back. They don't. So you have to make sure that they have good security protocols. And one of the ways that you can do that is by reviews and by searching online, or you can just ask me and I can tell you what I find. 7 is implementing ongoing holistic protection. So we talked about a lot today. There are so many things that you can implement. I hope that you took a screenshot of that slide deck. I hope you did, because if you're downloading those things today and implementing them slowly, that will increase your protection for your family tenfold. I want you to invest in online safety and security education. Give yourself a pat on the back, because that's what you did for the last 40 minutes. You sat with me and you talked about holistic online safety and security, and you took a screenshot of the slides and you asked me questions in a private and public chat. And I'm pretty sure some of you are going to text me. I haven't looked at my phone yet. And so this is investing your time and energy in security. And you're also about to be investing your money in security, because some of the apps that I talked about, they cost a little bit of dinero. So you're going to have to talk about, NordVPN or LastPass. LastPass was like $36 a year. So many of those things are not very expensive. You're just going to have to pull out your wallet for some of them. Next thing you have to pull out is your questions. Not now, but in general. You want to speak up and ask for help. You do not have to go through this alone. You do not have to do it yourself. There's so many organizations and people and resources and services, including me. You don't have to be with me. You don't have to be a part of the Safe Kids movement. You don't have to be, following me, but you're going to have to do something. Whether it's me or somebody else or some other organization, you have to learn how to protect your kids online. You have to speak up. You have to ask questions. Remember, solutions like this, they take a village. So I have a whole picture of everyone talking together. They take a village. They take all of us. Okay? So make sure you have people in your corner. I want to know if you're ready to be the next person to protect your kids online. I talked about the Safe Kids movement, which is my baby, right? The Safe Kids movement is something that I created to help more mothers in this area. So whether you are investing your time, money, and energy into this masterclass or to Safe Kids movement or to whatever, you need to make sure that you're staying on top of your own security and safety. So before I move forward, please let me know if you have any questions in the chat, because we're about to finish in the next 5 minutes. And I do not want to leave this masterclass because you spent almost 45 minutes with me. I do not want to leave this without your questions being answered. So please ask it. And if you need privately, then just text the number 202-918-5154. So on to the Safe Kids movement. Safe Kids movement goes into social media. So social media safety, gaming safety, internet browsing, security controls, connections and conversations. What do you need to know in terms of resources, parental controls, live interviews with other experts? So these are the things that we're going to go into with the Safe Kids movement. They drip out. They don't all come out at once, but you get them immediately if you need them. And I answer your questions through the text service as well. For me, the main goal of the Safe Kids movement is to fix a broken link, to empower you to have conversations, effective, holistic, beautiful conversations with your kids, to develop connections to holistically protect them online. That means giving them the freedom that they want and the safety and security that they need without you feeling overwhelmed, so that you can go and enjoy your life. Because to be honest, we're just trying to enjoy our life. We're just trying to make sure that the internet is a safe, beautiful, and enjoyable place for your kids. So the Safe Kids movement is just $27 a month. You can cancel at any time. You can keep on going for years to come. Whatever you want to do, it is all up to you, but the resources and the help is available there for you. I don't always talk about the Safe Kids movement, but I'm starting to talk about it now because we need more help in this area. So if you go to safekidsmovement.com right now, you can go in, you can look at the testimonials, you can see what's offered, you can try it out. You can say, okay, Fareedah, I want to know a little bit more, and I can text you the link, or you can go to safekidsmovement.com. So to get access, it's $27 a month. You go to that website. You have a couple of choices right now because we just spent 45 minutes together. So there are 3 choices that are perfectly and all acceptable. Like I said, I don't judge you. Do what works for your family. Number 1, which actually a lot of people are in this space, but you're not because you're part of this masterclass. They have an easily hackable and targetable family because they're not able to do anything. They don't know where to begin. They don't know where to start. They don't know that they don't have to be tech savvy. They don't know that they don't have to be social media savvy. And so many predators and hackers are able to get to their kids, are able to get through their network, are able to get through their computer because they don't have the security and safety that they need. Number 2, and you're most likely in this 2 or 3 group, right? Number 2 is you take what you learned today because you learned a heck of a lot. I didn't overwhelm you because I didn't want to, if you get too deep into certain things, you're going to be really, really scared. Okay. And so you want to make sure that you're taking what you learn and you DIY it. You do it yourself. Number 3 is you can follow a process. You can follow me. You can have me guide you with your family so that you are empowered to protect them online without being tech savvy, without being social media savvy, without knowing every single thing on the online world. I just help you through that so that you're empowered to protect your kids through the Safe Kids movement. So you have those options. You can either do what you learned today and DIY it and figure it out, and that's totally fine. Or you can follow with me, a proven process. We go through it. We do the Safe Kids movement. You can ask me questions. Whatever you want is what you want. I'm here for either one, as long as you're protecting your kids. I see, Yasmin says, can what they watch on YouTube be restricted? Yes. YouTube does have settings to restrict what they watch on YouTube. You can do certain things like download certain YouTube things and turn their internet off so they only can watch the things that you download and they can't watch the random videos on YouTube. There's a couple things that you can do to restrict what they watch on YouTube. All right, I'm going to wait a couple seconds to make sure because we're literally, this is the end. So if you have any more questions, please let me know. If you're in the replay, remember 202. I should have put it on the slides, to be honest. But 202-918-5154. If you message me, yes, the link and the replay will be sent to you in 24 hours. It's automatic and sent to you. If you do not get the replay, then message me either on social media or the 202-918. Thank you. Appreciate you. You can go to 202-918-5154 and then you will completely get everything. And if you don't get the replay, then I'll make sure to download it. Hopefully I can get it as well because sometimes technology is weird. But you will get it. So you can get access today if you go to safekidsmovement.com. Make sure you get there and you look at everything. There's a lot of testimonials, other people who've been to the program. You can join at any time. You can cancel at any time. It is up to you. I'm there for you in your journey. You can always be a part of my text community that will always remain open to public for free for everyone. Please make sure you're protecting your kids online. Do not feel like you have to know everything. Give yourself grace. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate all of you so much. Everyone in the private chat, everyone in the public chat, sending you so many hearts, sending you so much love to you and your family. Please make sure, remember, give yourself grace, to give yourself rest. You're doing so much. You have got this. I have got you. I'm there for you. You do not have to feel like this is all on your own shoulder. You have to know everything. There is help for you in the office. This is why I started the Safe Kids Movement. This is why I did this. I spent like 50 minutes with you. You spent 50 minutes with me. So thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to close out. Please remember that I am only a text away at 202-918-5154. And my program is only a click away or a little type away at safekidsmovement.com. I cannot wait to see you a part of the community. I cannot wait to answer your questions. I cannot wait for you to build beautiful, amazing connections with your kids so that you can holistically protect them online by giving them what they want and the safety and security that they need. Bye. I appreciate all of you. Sending you so much love.